Evening, freaks. I'm here to give you a read straight from the hip with lots of lip, and we're looking at that great black conjunction, which we had the first of what will be two within a 2-week period on the 16th. Today we got Lilith square Eris, okay? So that's some quite rebellious energy in the mix. We got a Sagittarius stellium new moon coming in on the 23rd to turn the spotlight on the stage and get this next act off the ground that's going to be opening up our new chapter moving forward. And then we have one more great black conjunction that is going to be occurring on November 30th. This will be the third within this year of 2022, which is highly unusual because normally great black conjunctions don't come around that often. What we're looking at when we're looking at the great black conjunction is the point of alignment of the void space of the moon and the sun in its elliptical orbit, okay? And I did put out a collective video about this, so you should check it out if you'd like to know more about that. What I'm doing right now, though, is helping each of the 12 signs tap into how to best work with this energy, because right now we're at a point where everything is shifting, but it's all shifting behind the scenes, okay? So the choices you make at this time are extremely significant. They're going to form the basis of how you'll be moving forward, and whether you'll be moving forward cleanly or if you're going to have shit dragging behind you that's actually going to slow you down and block your blessings, block the opportunities that want to come in for you. When we're doing this reading, it is a collective reading for that sign, so do be aware that's a lot of people. Take the messages that resonate with you, toss aside the rest. The messages come through that need to come through. I don't get in the way of that, so it's there for somebody, all right? So let whoever it is for receive it. The other thing I would say is that cross-watcher energy can come into a read. So if you recognize something that sounds more like the way you feel about the other people involved in this situation, use it as a cue that maybe you're not seeing how this person has a perspective about the matter that's actually a lot like yours, more like yours than you thought. Maybe that offers a new bargaining opportunity to bring to the table, okay? Let's see, anything else? Engage your intuition, okay? Engage your intuition. Always let that be your guide above all else. And any signs that get called out in the read, it's for any strong placements: sun, moon, rising, Venus, North Node, Mercury, Mars. And when we're looking at Capricorn, we are looking at the 10th house. So a packed 10th house or a stellium, 3 or more planets in that house can have a strong influence too. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. We're looking at the best way to move through these energies over these next couple of weeks, which is working through things on more the inner plane, you know, doing your metaphysical work, doing your spiritual work, sinking into your intuition, feeling things out, doing any cord cutting you need to do, you know, things of this nature. And so we're going to tap into Capricorn Collective's energy here and feel out, first of all, what's hidden that's going to be really coming to light for you during this period, because that's what this cycle's all about. What is the thing that you need to overthrow and rebel against in your life, okay? Where you shouldn't just go along with the status quo. I mean, that's definitely what we're looking at with that Lilith energy square Eris, okay? It's about disrupting what may have been kind of the way things have been for a long time now, and realizing that ain't gonna work anymore. I did pick up in your pre-shuffle that there's some kind of news coming your way pretty soon here. It may not be the news that you want to hear, okay? Because it requires you to take an action that you're not so stoked about having to take. Let's put it that way. I think you feel a little guarded. I think you feel a little self-protective around taking this action. And there's this need for you to look into matters a little bit deeper. There's something in this that has to do with your security And so it's almost like go over paperwork with fine-tooth comb if you've recently had to sign any paperwork, or if you've been in any kind of legal proceedings, or maybe if you've been communicating with somebody online, you know, and you've got like a message thread going back and forth, like get your receipts, okay? That's what I got, get your receipts. Yeah, we see on the bottom of the deck here that you're feeling a little guarded right now, okay, with this Nine of Wands energy. I think you're coming out of a really kind of tense period in your life where you had a lot coming at you. You've really had to stand your ground and you're kind of tired, you know. There's a part of you that thinks that there might be more around the bend to contend with. I think that's why when this news comes in, it's going to kind of set your hackles up. You know, because you feel like you're going to have to clean up another mess. But that's not necessarily the case, okay? There might be something that's just an oversight, and it's actually really easy to catch if you just go back over that correspondence, or you go back over that paperwork, you know? Have another look there. There's something there to be found. There's something there that actually makes things come together quite easily, okay? It doesn't have to be this negative thing. This could be connected with you achieving like some sense of real independence and abundance, you know. I think it's something that you've built for yourself. We got the Empress here, okay? Empress is associated with Libra, Taurus energies too, and we are in this period of collectively stepping into that Taurus North Node destiny, all right? We've taken our time in the shadow working with Pluto and all this heavy cycle we've been through over the past year. And we have been integrating that energy. We're preparing to step out of that fate and see where our growth has been. You know, have we been able to transcend the lessons of the past? Have we been able to overcome our limitations? Are we ready to step into that potential? I think what you got on offer is a lot of growth. I think you got a serious glow up coming too. You know, I feel like you've done a lot of work on yourself, you know. The Empress doesn't get to be the Empress without having been through some shit, you know? She's done her shit. She's had to integrate a lot of heavy lessons, and I think you've had a lot coming at you. I think you went through a lot of things over the past year where you had a lot of people that opposed you, you know? And you didn't really have a lot to fall back on. You had to really learn how to be confident and stand on your own 2 feet, and this is really going to be recognized. I feel like as we get closer to that new moon energy in Sagittarius, you're going to really start having this recognized, just how much you've really come into your element. You know, people are going to see what you've created for yourself. They're going to notice the shift in you. They see your confidence. They see that you know, you're working your mojo, you're making things grow in your life. You've been investing your energy in wise ways. And I feel like this is a big part of this too, you know, with your Nine of Wands energy, is that you're fiercely protecting this. You don't want anyone taking this from you, what you've worked so hard to cultivate for yourself, what you've been building for yourself. 8:22 on the clock when I said that. Like I said, this was not easy for you. You had to learn a lot of intense lessons in order to get to this place where you're really about to step into the success of what you've been building. And you know, that can, yeah, you know, this could have to do with a contract, okay? We do see the title card for the deck here, and this is what I use as any kind of like, any kind of legally binding contracts, agreements, things of this nature. I feel like, you know, you're going to have somebody that is going to be coming at you that maybe is making you an offer. Maybe they want to sign you on to something. They see your project. They recognize its value. Maybe they're offering to finance it on a certain level. You could be getting some kind of sponsorship that's coming through. Some of you may be getting contracts for, you know, your books or other creative things that you've put together, getting signed on for a record label for those of you who are musicians. There's some point of arrival here that's recognizing your creativity. It's recognizing something that you've been building for yourself. It's a moment of arrival, a recognition for your work, and something you had to really, invest a lot of time and energy in. It's been the whole basis of your security, and it's very close to you. Some of you, this is an entrepreneurial pursuit. You got somebody who has their eye on your work and they want to offer you some kind of opportunity. It does involve you getting into some kind of contractual agreement, and there's a need to really go over things with a fine-tooth comb, not just accept things at face value, and make sure that you are being valued in this agreement, whatever you're signing off on here. This is super important. And it was 10:28 on the clock when I said that, so 10:10, how things begin make a big difference, when you're starting out on a new cycle. Make sure you're kicking off this new cycle, understanding the value of what you built for yourself, also knowing your worth and what you can't compromise on at the end of the day, because you definitely want to make sure you maintain the rights to this. And in cases where, somebody's wanting you to invest in something of theirs, they see what you've grown for yourself. Maybe they want you to help them out, you're trying to hash out agreements. There's a need to be mindful about this. It may be somebody younger than you too. It could be somebody who's, like just getting started out. Maybe you want to help them with their business. You've come into some money. You want to help them with their business. This could be, for those of you who are parents, this could be your kid, you want to give them a leg up. But at the same time, you want to be mindful about how you move forward with this. So it's something that's empowering and not where it ends up actually kind of stunting the growth of your kid, by getting them into some kind of financial contract with you. There's a lot of things to hammer out, and there's also some action you feel like you need to take in regard to whatever this negotiation is that involves some kind of contracts and does require that you have your receipts, like don't lose these papers after you sign off on these agreements. If you're not sure about signing something, have somebody look at it, have another pair of eyes that are legally trained have a look at it, but there's some kind of action you're going to have to take, some kind of action. Yeah, you're going to need to be very decisive here, all right? And again, you might want to get somebody in the legal field to have a look over any documents that you go to sign, okay? Because we have the King of Swords here. This is Aquarius, Gemini, Libra energy as well. It's about being decisive. It's about being very clear. Now, with this coming in with the Empress, it's also possible that these agreements that you're making, these decisions that you're coming to, they could have to do with an Empress, with a Libra, okay? Because we do have that air sign significator coming up here, all right? So there's just definitely a need to be very clear in communications, and potentially maybe you think, oh, I can make a verbal agreement with this person. That might not be the best. You might actually want to put it on paper, just keep things really clean and clear, and especially where there's any kind of financial agreements being made, any kind of divvying of assets or anything along these lines, or entering into any kind of business agreements with each other. 13:33 on the clock when I said that. You want to make sure everything's in alignment, everything's on board, and that's going to secure like a very beneficial new beginning. I feel like there's also some kind of element of healing that needs to happen in this situation. Maybe there's something that needs to be hammered out with somebody that you've been having difficulties working things out with in the past. And there's a need to kind of, smooth things over, come to the table in a different way. All right, let's see what else is coming in. What's coming in for Capricorn Collective, Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, North Node, Mercury, Mars, or Pact 10th house. What is coming in for the Capricorn Collective? Yeah, we're about to start a brand new cycle, okay? It actually looks like there's a lot of positive, supportive energy going forward for you, even though you do have to deal with this, communication come in that has you having to take an action that maybe you just, I'd rather not deal with that. But there's so much positive energy on deck for you. Right now, you're just kind of letting all the the last little remnants of the old cycle flush out so you can start down a new road. I mean, with the Fool here, we have you opening up to a brand new cycle that actually has you feeling pretty enthusiastic. You know, you're feeling hopeful. It's sort of like breaking up the inertia in your life. A lot of you are going to be preparing to travel. Okay, so this would be a good time during this cycle when everything's kind of in that void space where nothing's been quite set yet and everything's still shifting around behind the scenes. It might be a good time to just let yourself have some time to kind of like daydream and maybe think about where you would like to travel, you know, go and research different places and just kind of think about where do you want to explore, what do you want to check out. Some of you also might be wanting to really get out of your usual surroundings. Your usual surroundings might be feeling a bit stifling for you. I think you're in this place where you're really ready to like invest in your growth fully. And when I say investing in your growth, I mean that independently. Like you're really wanting to just have some you time for personal exploration and to just kind of go out there and get a little lost in the world and find yourself. There's this big call to like new environments, just being around new influences, wanting to travel, wanting to go out there and have experiences. And I think you are going to be planning a trip, you know. It has this vibe though to me of really, I see this card and it makes me think of the Camino Santiago. Some of you may be thinking about exploring Spain a bit. That might be coming up for you. You might be looking at going across the pond, maybe going throughout Europe, checking out some different places. You might be really drawn to check out some historical sites, you know, just see those things that you've always read about and you've always been curious about, but you want to like go there. You want to actually make contact with the land. You want to feel out the energies. And I'm also getting something for some of you because this is a time of very much looking at more of the kind of esoteric and more of the spiritual and the intuitive and the psychic awareness and more of those sort of intangible things. It's more about diving into more of the subconscious exploration right now during this 2-week period we're having here. So there's some of you that may have been really getting some downloads about past life that you had in one of these locations, you know, across the globe, and you're actually wanting to go to some of these sites that you feel like you have a really strong connection with. I mean, I got like Stonehenge coming in, like really wanting to go and actually stand on that ground because you feel like there's something that comes full circle within yourself that you can't really explain. It's just this feeling you have. Like if I don't, until I go to this land and I make contact with this land, that things aren't going to come into alignment for me. Things aren't going to make sense because there's something about some karmic loop that you're closing up. You know, it's very much this kind of expansive Aquarian kind of energy coming in. You may even be wanting to do some travel with an Aquarius, you know, or somebody who wakes up this part of you that, you know, can go a bit far out there, you know. I mean, the thing with Capricorn is represented by the sea goat, you know, and it's like goats are of the land and yeah, they're very resilient and you know, nothing's gonna stop a goat. A goat will find a way. And you're like that. You're very tenacious, Capricorn. And you're also known to be very practical, you know? You deal with practical things and a lot of people can kind of get you boxed in though. They forget the sea part of that sea goat, which is also your ability to dive really deep, you know? There's a part of you that's very soulful and your real connection with your spirit always comes from like the bones, you know. It comes from the depths. It comes from making contact with like your ancestral roots. And I think this is something that's been interesting you a lot more lately. You're actually wanting to go and travel and make contact with these lands that play a part in your ancestry. You feel like it's going to awaken something in you. There's something that's going to come forward for you in exploring these places. I also got some of you maybe wanting to go to New Orleans. You actually might be kind of planning in advance. You'd like to go to New Orleans for Mardi Gras and just kind of experience the magic of that city, and just have yourself a time. But there's this feeling of real celebration coming forward in your life, but there's some like last bit of legal matters to tie up. There's some kind of actions that need to be taken that involve contracts, that involve legal paperwork, that require you to take some action that it's responsible, but it also makes you feel a little bit uncomfortable at the same time. Let's see if we got anything else coming in here for Capricorn Collective during this great flat conjunction cycle. What do they need to be aware of? What do they need to focus on? How can they be best supported in this period? I mean, it's looking so good, really. Definitely could be dealing with an Aquarius, could be dealing with a Libra. These signs are factoring in really strongly in this scenario with the cards on the board. Let's see here. Yeah, I think that there's been some ending in a relationship, and so maybe this is what's uncomfortable. We got the Two of Cups in reverse. And there may be a lot of you who are currently in relationships that are feeling the distance. You know, you're not feeling as connected to your person. Maybe there's been some kind of fallout. I just got some of you maybe wanting to like go on a road trip with somebody you've had a falling out with as a way to kind of reconnect on a different level. Maybe getting out of your usual environment with each other and making, you know, an opportunity to drop in deep, maybe at a place that has kind of a spiritual connection for you. There's something about this. Might even be thinking of going on some kind of like spiritual retreat workshop, going to a tantra workshop, like something along these lines to try to work through these issues. It's almost like wondering, you know, what is the best way to move forward with ending this contract too. This could be ending a soul contract. Like maybe you just realize like we've had our time and it's hard, but you know, I'm ready to start my new cycle, and I want you to start your new cycle too, and thinking about how to do that in the most amicable way, most amicable, respectful way. Some of you may want to turn this energy around though. Let's see what's on the bottom here. I mean, we do have the Six of Wands here. So there's some kind of victory. There's some kind of success that comes forward here that starts a new cycle. And I believe it has something to do with creating more of a state of independence in what used to be, you know, it looks like a partnership and it looks like a romantic partnership. But there is some kind of legal piece or financial piece that's involved in this, something that needs to be hammered out. There's some kind of challenge in this matter, but it looks like it's going to be overcome and it's going to be a good thing. But like I said, you do need to be aware in this situation, because here it is on the bottom of the deck energy, okay? We got the High Priestess to the Eight of Swords to the Page of Swords. So there's that piece again about really being mindful of this written word, being mindful of the contracts you enter into, the agreements you enter into, anything that has to do with any kind of transferring of assets, dividing of assets. You're going to get some kind of word around this. There's something hidden that you can't see. And there is somebody who's kind of like, you know, they got something up their sleeves, you know, they're taking a move that, you know, puts them in a really advantageous position, but might leave you really in a bind, okay, with this Eight of Swords. So you want to be very aware of the motives in this situation, and you want to pay attention to your intuition. Like I said, I think when it comes to any of these agreements that you're going to be hammering out, don't just leave it to a conversation. Like really put it on paper. There's something about this. There's a need for you all to like put things on paper. I think there can be too much opportunity for things to be unclear in agreements you're making, and especially if it's about agreements in relation to finances. This also could be a case where, maybe a relationship is opening up. Maybe there's a choice to be single, maybe there's a choice to be single. There's something that's shifting in a relationship that actually leads to success. It leads to a feeling of overcoming challenges. It opens up a brand new cycle. I think you're going to feel really good about this. And I think you definitely got a new beginning. And it also looks like it's really financially secure. But look at this. It's not just in finances. It's also in love. We got Ace of Pentacles to Ace of Cups here. All right. So we see that there's a real opportunity to overcome what's been challenging. But there is really a need to make things clear. I feel like this Page of Swords to this High Priestess energy to the Eight of Swords, I feel like this is really dealing with not wanting to get into kind of like any legally binding agreement. So this may be a case where in the past, maybe marriage was something that was on the deck, or maybe you are married and you're realizing, I don't want to be married anymore. Or maybe the person you were with wanted high level commitment and you're like, I don't want that. You might have a lot of resistance around that. You might think that you are dealing with somebody who, they say they're cool with opening things up, but really they still want you in a marriage. They want you to put a ring on it. I think you're gonna be able to get beyond this, but I feel like there's this piece here where all this stuff is kind of being hidden, like the fears and what you're worried about happening in this situation, or the ways that you are dissatisfied. It's like there's a communication that needs to be happening here, but I feel like the communication hasn't been happening with the right people. I feel more like somebody here has been going around, they've been like taking a poll of their friends online and asking their friends what they should do about this relationship, how they should handle this situation. They've been letting other people kind of eavesdrop on their situation and give their 2 cents. And it's making things really muddled and also super confusing. And what I'm getting is that you got, in particular, one person who's kind of a real like fly in the ointment. Like they're giving really bad advice and it's actually fucking you up. You can't see this though, You can't see this because you think that this person has, your best interests at heart. I feel like this is also somebody, this friend of yours who's been giving you advice. I feel like this is also somebody who's had trouble in their relationship. It's sort of like that, like misery loves company thing. So they're not exactly like guiding you in the best way forward necessarily, okay? Be aware of this because it's just making you confused. And really with the Eight of Swords, you have all the answers. You don't need to ask other people about this shit. You need to actually, talk to your person that you're having these challenges with, and you all need to hammer it out with each other. And if you, suspect something or you feel like there's something that's been hidden from you or whatever, well, then ask for receipts, and make sure that whatever you're saying, you can back it up with receipts too, If you're accusing somebody of something, do you have proof that they actually did it, or do you just have people putting ideas in your ear? And this is something that's coming forward. I think whatever this is, this mess, I think you're going to start to really see clearly like who's actually been leading you on a wild goose chase and has been pointing you in the wrong direction. I think you have an opportunity to make new agreements moving forward. You might be surprised, this other person might also really want their independence too. There might be a new way to work through things. It sees a victory in this situation, with that 6 of Wands. Looks like a very positive outcome. Leads to a new financial beginning and leads to a new beginning in love, all right? So finances are going to be secured. Looks really positive. I see home life is going to be secured too. You just got to stop like letting people butt into your business. That's what I really get. And there's some action you're going to need to take. You might not want to take it, but it might be having to lay down a boundary with some of these people that you've turned to for help in the past. Okay, cut of the deck energy. Yep. Wheel of Fortune, all right? Things are getting ready to turn in a really positive direction for you. So just make sure you don't keep any habits or, people around that keep slowing you down.